Hello, my dear friends. Today I'd like to discuss the combat tactics of Soviet snipers in the Battle for Stalingrad. We will discuss it on the example of a group of snipers under the leadership of the most famous Soviet sniper, Vasily Zaitsev. There was an unbelievably high density of sniper fire in the Battle of Stalingrad. This was, of course, because of the location, a ruined city with plenty of potential shooting points for snipers. But let me focus your attention on the order of the commander of the Stalingrad front dated October 29, 1942. On the development of the sniper activity and the use of snipers in the fight against the enemy, which in particular stated 1. To create in all units the groups of snipers and organize their training during the battles. 2. To have at least 2 to 3 snipers in each platoon. 3. To popularize the operations of snipers widely, to reward any successes in combat by all means. According to this order, we can understand that 2 to 3 snipers in a platoon turns into a great number of Soviet snipers in divisions and armies that were engaged in this battle. The most famous sniper in Stalingrad is without a doubt Vasily Zaitsev, who shot down 242 German soldiers and officers, including the head of the sniper school in Berlin, Major Konings. Altogether, Zaitsev's group annihilated 1,126 enemy soldiers in 4 months of combat. Zaitsev's comrades in arms were Nikolai Ilyin, who had 496 Germans on his account, Pyotr Goncharov had 380, and Viktor Medvedev had 342. We should emphasize that Zaitsev's principal merit was not his personal combat performance, but rather that he became a key leader in the deployment of the sniper activity amidst the ruins of Stalingrad. The urban combat, especially in a large city, is dramatically different from the field combat. The struggle here goes for separate buildings, and inside the buildings for a floor, a flight of stairs, or a quarter. A big, splitting, fragmented combat formation of units operating in small storming groups is one of the basic peculiarities of urban combat. In Stalingrad, the enemy sides were not more than 100 meters from each other, sometimes even up to 25 meters. At many points, the heavy guns and assault aviation were unable to engage without risking a hit on their own positions. For this reason, the decisive place in the fight for shooting initiative lay with mortar gunners, anti-tank gunners, and first of all, snipers. Vasily Zaitsev started to act alone on a narrow section, about 200 meters long, of his company near the hardware factory. By then, almost totally ruined. Both forces carefully observed each other. Every careless step, every mistake was immediately penalized. Under these conditions, Zaitsev began his hunt for German soldiers. It is common knowledge that in a field battle, the snipers normally tend to move on the front edge of the enemy, closer to the objects of their observation and shooting. So at first, Zaitsev operated in the same way. But as he started to run into the enemy snipers prowling and restraining him, he understandably attempted to elude the sphere of their fire, at the same time keeping them within range of his rifle. The positions of the German snipers in this section were located in depth that ranges usually no more than 800 meters. The German snipers did not shoot from farther distances. Their positions were closer to the front line. Then Vasily, searching for firing positions, began to move away from the front edge into the depth of the positions of the Red Army, removing from the German snipers at a distance of up to 1,000 meters. It was harder for the Germans to detect the Soviet sniper. It was becoming more and more difficult to fight the German snipers individually. Then, the thought of organizing a group of snipers came up. Vasily Zaitsev went to the companies, had long conversations with the soldiers, taking people to the sniper group. He chose 30 men. The training was held here, close to the front line. A novice sniper was always paired with a veteran. It proved to be fully effective. The battalion commander usually gave the group a combat mission. However, the group often had to operate in neighboring units by order of the unit commander, acting as a sort of maneuverable firepower. In November, when there was a defense of the hardware factory, the Germans began to concentrate in front of the neighboring unit, in the gully, near the forward entrenchments of the Red Army. There was a demand for the help of snipers. Zaitsev and a group of 5 snipers, Zaykin, Dvoyashkin, Kulikov, Monorzov, and Shaikin, in half an hour took new positions, about half a kilometer from the former ones. They were joined by Captain Rakityansky, an old Siberian hunter. Just the moment the Germans appeared from behind the buildings, the snipers opened fire. In a few minutes, the enemy suffered more than 24 killed and gave up the assault they were preparing. Another time, a group of 6 snipers who had previously prepared shooting positions at a new section shot down 45 German soldiers in one day. The sniper group was organized into squads of 3 pairs each. The pairs and squads were positioned in such a way as to provide fire interaction and mutual support. Zaitsev personally assigned each 6-person group's commander a sector of observation and shooting, as well as a specific fire mission. Upon arrival at a new section, the snipers usually focused their first day on observation and reconnaissance. While they were already at the initial position, a sheltered point in the rear of the unit's defense area, the snipers obtained information gathered by the unit commander from commanders, observers, reconnaissance, and artillerymen. It helped Zaitsev to correctly divide the sectors of observation between the squads. It was prohibited to shoot on the first day, despite the itching to shoot of the young snipers. However, after the death of sniper Dmitriev, who had time to make only one shot, having failed to examine the location of enemy sniper positions and rashly choosing a firing position, all of them began to stick firmly to this rule. During the night, the equipment of firing positions, true and false, was in progress. The embrasures in the walls of the houses were holed out. The true positions were carefully camouflaged. The camouflage of false positions required as much effort. The enemy had to mistake them for true ones. In the embrasure of a false position, there was a scarecrow mock-up of a sniper with a rifle. The scarecrow would fall when hit by a bullet of an enemy sniper. Each sniper had several positions, sometimes up to 5. The Russian snipers followed the rule to change position after every shot. The choice and preparation of sniper positions in urban combat are crucial. For this reason, in the mornings, when the snipers occupied their positions, Vasily Zaitsev personally inspected them, checking out how the positions were prepared and closing the ones that were badly chosen. The wooden houses were avoided, as they would quickly catch fire during shooting. They tried to choose positions based on their combat practice, at a distance of 800 to 1,000 meters from German snipers on the upper floors, eaves, and attics of stone buildings, which provided a good view. After having prepared and camouflaged the embrasure, the sniper was usually positioned at the interior of the building, in order not to be visible and not to be detected by a shot. While the group operated at the section, Zaitsev analyzed the observer logs and reconnaissance reports daily. The infantry observers were informed by the group's commander that there were pairs of snipers operating in the area. During the evenings, when the snipers gathered the initial position, they summarized the day's results and adjusted the mission for tomorrow. The logs of infantry observers also helped to monitor the effectiveness of the snipers' fire. For communications between the sniper squads, they used telephone and other tools at the disposal of the companies, as well as messengers. The signals for a general repositioning or withdrawal were given by flares. 2 pairs of snipers had, besides rifles, anti-tank guns and dagger fired at targets that were not easy to hit with a sniper bullet, at well-protected embrasures, hidden machine guns, tanks, and planes. For a while, they were hunting for a vehicle, which often approached the city hospital, where the Germans had arranged a kitchen about 600 meters from the front line. The snipers were able to shoot 1 or 2 krauts, and the rest had time to hide, and the vehicle escaped unharmed. It was nevertheless destroyed with armor-piercing incendiary bullets of 2 anti-tank guns. This was how a group of Soviet snipers operated in defense. But when the famous Stalingrad offensive was launched, the snipers became part of the blocking groups. They were engaged in fire, softening up and supporting the attack of the storming groups. The snipers, with accurate fire on rapidly hiding targets, cleared the way for infantrymen, who burst into the house occupied by Germans and destroyed them with grenades and bayonets. During these battles, the Stalingrad snipers demonstrated the high skill of accurate rapid fire and snap shooting. The snipers of Zaitsev's group were presumably the first ones who reached the conclusion about the necessity of creating large-caliber sniper weapons. They experimented with mounting a telescope sight on an anti-tank gun to increase the range and accuracy of sniper fire. 98 snipers in the 13th Guards Rifle Division shot down 3,879 soldiers and officers. 70 snipers in the 39th Guards Rifle Division took out 2,572 men. On average, in the 62nd and 64th Armies that were defending Stalingrad, there were 25 to 30 killed Germans by 1 sniper. On very rough estimates, during the Battle of Stalingrad, the Soviet snipers eliminated more than 10,000 German soldiers and officers. That is all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and support the channel by subscribing. Goodbye, everyone. Until new meetings.